Hello YouTube! My name's Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions. And I do my best to go ahead and answer them. This particular episode of Dear Nero is going up on New Year's Eve. It's kind of crazy how it ended up working out this year, because Dear Nero, it comes out on Wednesdays, right? It always has, always will. And last week, it happened to be Christmas Eve for last week's episode of Dear Nero, and then this week, it's actually New Year's Eve for this week's episode of Dear Nero. That's crazy. It is crazy that it ended up working out that way. I don't think it's going to happen like that again for a very, very long time, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that this stuff has happened. The gameplay you guys are watching, once again, is some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and last night I decided, since like basically none of my friends play very often anymore, I'm like, you know what, we have a few people, let's go ahead and just fill out the rest of this lobby. We'll go ahead and we'll try and get 6 subscribers off of Twitter. And then I asked people to send me messages, and they did, and I invited them when I could, because Xbox Live's messaging sucks, and for whatever reason, if you try to invite somebody to a game, half the time they can't connect for whatever reason. It is just a giant pain, but we ended up getting some people in there. I invite people in and out throughout the evening, and it was quite a lot of fun, I gotta say. We ended up losing, I think, 2 matches, and we just really dominated throughout most of it. So the gameplay for this week is actually going to be footage from last night where we were running around with subscribers and playing ground war, and it was a whole lot of fun. So hopefully you guys also back relaxed and enjoyed that gameplay. Let's get into the questions here, because that is what Dear Nero is all about. It is about your guys' questions and my answers to them. The very first question he's going to write: Dear Nero, I started Call of Duty back on the original Black Ops. That was terrible. Now in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I now have a 2.13 kill-death ratio. I was wondering how long it took you to get in the hang of things, and also what kept you interested in the franchise. Thanks, Seth from Oregon. So Seth, I started out in Call of Duty 4, as I'm sure a lot of you guys were well aware, and I would say it took me just about as long as you to really kind of get into the Call of Duty series and kind of like start being really good at it. So when I first started playing Call of Duty 4, I remember specifically, because it's such kind of like it's a memorable number, I had a .77 KD. I remember having that in Call of Duty 4. Now it's like a 1.4 or something like that. I brought it up throughout the years, but yeah, I remember in Call of Duty 4, my original KD was like a .77. Then in Call of Duty World at War, I got a little bit better, and my KD was roughly like a 1.25. Then in Modern Warfare 2, I think it was like a 1.75, somewhere in that range. Then in Black Ops, that's when I started having like a 2+ KD, and I kept that throughout like every Call of Duty going forward. I had it during Modern Warfare 3, I had it during Black Ops 2, I had it during Call of Duty Ghost, and I did have it in Advanced Warfare, but that's dropping really quickly because in Advanced Warfare, right? This game, the Ball 27 was just, oh man, the Ball 27, it got to the point where I'm on YouTube, and I, for whatever reason, have this weird moral stance against the idea where I will not use the OP guns. I will not. I refuse. I did it years past. I did it in Modern Warfare 3. I would use the ACR a bunch. I did it during Black Ops. I would use the FAMAS a bunch. I won't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. I want to have a cool combat record in that I have decent stats, but I also have the majority of my kills with underused weapons and stuff like that. So I refused to use Ball 27 after it kind of became like the OP gun, right? I'm like, okay, no more of this. I'm not using it. And I started using other guns. I started using submachine guns, making videos talking about submachine guns, how we should start using those. And I started using the ASM-1, especially since I got the Speakeasy variant. And then suddenly, now everybody's using the ASM-1, and it's ridiculous. I'm like, okay, so now the ASM-1 and the Ball 27 are the overpowered guns in this game that everyone's using. So now I can't use either one of those. So now I'm using like MP11s and like the EM1 and things like that, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because everybody's using those weapons, so I try my best not to use them. I'm trying to use very underused, weaker guns to kind of challenge myself a little bit and have a little more fun as a result. But as it turns out, it's kind of frustrating, and my stats are getting worse as a result. I think I'm down to like a 1.8 KD in Advanced Warfare right now as a result of that. But still, I enjoy it. I know it'd be easy as balls to hold like a 2+ KD if I were using like the balls and the AK-12 and the SM-1 like every game like everyone else seems to do, but I don't have fun playing that way, so I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep using that stuff. But yeah, I think it takes a few years, I think, for Call of Duty players to really start getting into the franchise. I think it takes a special kind of player to come out and be like a 1.5 KD player, like in your very first game. Like you just started playing Call of Duty this year, you're already up to like a 1.5 KD or higher, and you're just, dominating already. For a lot of people, at least people I've talked to, we never really had that. We always end up starting off really bad, and as the years kind of got by, we just started getting better and better and better and better until eventually just about everyone I'm friends with anyway has, well above a 2 KD on just about every single game now. So I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting how that ends up working out. What kept me interested in the franchise was the fact that I just just like Call of Duty. I like the entire idea of having an online war game that we're running around shooting each other and stuff. I always thought that was kind of interesting. So I didn't care that, I had negative KD in COD 4. I still enjoyed the game. I still enjoy the game to this day. I can go back and play that game and have tons of fun in it. I have well over 100,000 kills in COD 4. I think I have like 70,000 kills in World of War, which seems like a bit less, but that's because I played basically only Search and Destroy World of War because it was so good. Modern Warfare 2, well over 100,000 kills. Black Ops, well over 100,000 kills. Modern Warfare 3, not nearly as much as that because I don't like Modern Warfare 3. Black Ops 2, I think I got like something along the lines of 70 or 80,000 kills altogether, something along those lines. Like basically, yeah, it's like Call of Duty. It's a fun game to play. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, why do you think YouTubers and professional gamers tend to use Xbox as opposed to PlayStation, even though PSN has more players than Xbox Live? This person did not leave his or her name, nor did he leave a source. I hate that. People always seem to send me questions here for Dear Nero that they'll make a statement like that. Like, even though PlayStation has more players than Xbox Live, I'm like, where's the source for that? Like, can you give me a link to something? Because I've never heard that PlayStation has more members, or even that Xbox has more members. I never really heard anything about that. I know PlayStation's outsold Xbox. The PlayStation 4 has outsold the Xbox One, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have more active PlayStation Network subscribers. That doesn't necessarily mean that. So I don't know. But to answer the question, the idea of it is I think the reason more people play on Xbox in terms of YouTubers and professional gamers was what happened in the last gen. So the PlayStation 3, as much as I'm sure you guys like that, was not a very good console if you were a YouTuber. Like, if you wanted to maintain a pretty easy friends list, if you wanted to make it so people couldn't join session, if you wanted to do things like that, you basically need to play on Xbox. That's just really kind of the nature of things. You really end up needing to have that. Now, of course, there's YouTubers and stuff that I played on the PlayStation 3. Of course, that happened, but just the Xbox itself was actually a bit better, and there's a lot of YouTubers, if you go back and look, that actually were PlayStation players and ended up converting over to the Xbox because the fact that everybody had microphones and the sound quality of the microphones, and just everyone kind of considered the Xbox 360 to be a little bit better, especially if you were a YouTuber. Now with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it really doesn't matter whatsoever, but the reason people play more Xbox Live, maybe more people are playing on that as compared to the PlayStation 4, and at least in terms of professional players and YouTubers, is because of what happened last gen, where they're already kind of used to their console. That's really what it comes down to. I bought my 360, or else I got my 360. I got it for Christmas way back when, I think in 2006 or 2007, and I got it for Christmas, and the reason I got it was because that's what my cousin had, and because of that, I've always been an Xbox player. I don't think I'll ever switch over to the PlayStation because, of course, I have my account and all the things that go with the account, the gamer score, the 5 years of Xbox Live on there, or whatever it says, or 6, I don't even know how many years it is now, and just having all that stuff on there, it's kind of neat, and you've had your account forever, you've had your friends list forever, you know all these people on that console, and the Switch consoles really doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And if a lot of people, YouTubers and pro players alike, went over to the 360 because it was just a little bit of a better console if you were a YouTuber, then they probably just wanted to stay there. They probably, like, why would they end up switching over? They have their account, they have their friends list, they're used to the controller, they're used to everything. It doesn't really seem to make sense to switch consoles. That's why I made a video, or actually several videos, talking about this when people were talking about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One before they came out. And I said, I don't think it's going to matter what the advertising is going to be like, because in reality, there's a very small percentage of people out there that actually buy a console based upon, like, oh, it's got this much dedicated RAM or something like that inside the console. I think the majority of the people, and of course not everybody, but at least the majority of people, just bought the newer version of the console they already owned. If you were a 360 player, chances are you bought an Xbox One. If you were a PS3 player, chances are you bought a PlayStation 4. And I think that's the reason why you probably see more YouTubers using the Xbox compared to the PlayStation. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I was playing on the button layout tactical in Advanced Warfare. It was amazing. I win more gunfights now than I normally did, and I was wondering what button layout do you play on? Tactical makes it so you can drop shot easier. Johnson from Texas. So Mr. Johnson, you're just now catching up on that train, are ya? Back in World at War was really when the idea of drop shotting really kind of became a thing. That's when the majority of the Call of Duty fan base really started switching over to the tactical layout, which allowed them to drop shot a bit easier. If you guys don't know, if you picture your controller, right? Picture your controller right there in your hands. Probably some of you actually have your controller in your hands because you probably listen to this while you play Call of Duty or something. But still, look at your controller there. If you're playing on the tactical layout, instead of crouching and going prone with the B button or the circle button on the PlayStation, instead of doing that, if you play on on tactical, you click in your right stick, and that is what makes you crouch, and that is what makes you go prone. You click it to crouch, you hold it down to go prone. And the reason for that is one, it makes it so you can drop shot way easier. It's way easier to drop shot, but I'm not even a drop shotter. It's too much work. I am way too lazy. I see all these people now. They're always, scuff jumping around corners, and they're always, drop shotting to try and get every kill and stuff like that. Watch my gameplays. I don't drop shot. I don't jump. I don't care. I'm too lazy to do all that stuff. I get just as good games as you, and I don't need to do any of that tricky stuff. I just like to sit there and shoot people. But yeah, back during World at War, everyone started drop shotting, myself included. Everyone was doing it. I'm like, I'm gonna try and figure this out. And I remember specifically like trying to learn how to do it, and just like the culture shock of it was like trying to manage your controller. You're so used to your controller, right? It feels so natural to you. And then when you switch around just two of the buttons, it's like, oh, wow, whoa, I keep screwing up every time I want to knife somebody and stuff. It's really annoying. But I honestly feel as though the Call of Duty franchise itself should make the tactical layout the default layout. That way we get less panic knifers in the Call of Duty franchise. If you're not going to remove knifing, right? If you're not going to make it so it's kind of like Halo in that if it's in the front, you have to hit them twice with your melee to kill them and only once from behind. If you're not going to do that, then at least make it so everybody just can't panic knife as much. It's so annoying for that to happen. It really, really is. And also, just one of the benefits, the reason I still play on tactical is one, because I'm used to it, but two, the fact that tactical actually just seems to give you a lot more control of your character as compared to playing on the default layout. Playing on tactical makes it so you can crouch and you can prone a lot easier. You don't have to take your hand off the thumbstick and move it over to the B or the circle button just because if you want to go prone, just if you want to crouch or anything like that. It's right there where your thumb already is on the stick. Now, this does make it so it's a little bit harder to melee, but you can still end up doing that. I think overall, tactical is the way better layout to go with if you're looking for change up in your playstyle. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, and this is kind of a lightning round question. He's got 10 questions here, and they're basically this or that style questions. Let's hop into it. Modern Warfare 3 or Call of Duty Ghost? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say Call of Duty Ghost. I really don't like Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2? Definitely Call of Duty 4. Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2? I'm going to say Black Ops 2, but that's a close one. Black Ops 1 was also just ridiculously good. COD 2 or COD 3? I'm going to say COD 2. I played both a little bit, and COD 2 is just a little bit more fun for me. Call of Duty Ghost 2 or Modern Warfare 4? I'm going to say Modern Warfare 4, and the reason for that is the ending to the COD Ghost campaign was awful, and it just turned me off the entire story altogether. I'm like, I don't even want to play this stupid campaign anymore. If there is a Ghost 2, which is going to be, I don't want to play it because that campaign was stupid. The campaign was great, but the ending was so stupid, it just turned me off it completely, so I want Modern Warfare 4. Black Ops 3 or a new Treyarch series? I'm going to say Black Ops 3, or unless they want to go back to World War II or Vietnam with the new Treyarch series. Old Infinity Ward, Treyarch, or Sledgehammer? I'm going to say Treyarch all the way. Treyarch has never disappointed with any game that they've made that I've played. It's all just been good stuff, man. It's all been good stuff. Modern Warfare series or Black Ops series? Definitely the Black Ops series. New Infinity Ward takes over all Call of Duty games and Sledgehammer and Treyarch are dropped, or everyone in the world starts calling COD 4 Modern Warfare 1. Oh, it's awful. Oh, why? Nobody calls it Modern Warfare 1. You only call it Modern Warfare 1 if you start out in Modern Warfare 2 or later, right? It's called COD 4. The original Modern Warfare. Everyone calls it Modern Warfare 1. It's called COD 4. Everyone that played it in its prime called it COD 4. It's called COD 4. But still, I would rather have everybody call it Modern Warfare 1 rather than have Infinity Ward take over all Call of Duty games. Because let's face it, Infinity Ward makes some terrible stuff. And the final one is new Medal of Honor game or Battlefield Hardline. I'm going to say Battlefield Hardline. I never really got into the newer Medal of Honor games. The ones on the PlayStation 2 were great, but like the new ones that came out, it just wasn't very good. So Battlefield Hardline, it's basically Battlefield 4, but with cops and robbers themes. And those were all sent in by a guy named Eugene from Ireland. So thank you to Mr. Eugene from Ireland for sending in that question. I thought that was pretty interesting. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, your video Monday was about remastering Call of Duty and how you would do one near the release of each new release starting in 2017. How would you feel if they did something similar to the Halo Master Chief Collection? I was thinking of two different ways to do this. The first was to release all the Treyarch titles and then one remastered bundle and then release one with Infinity Wards. The other would be to split them up by titles. For example, all the Modern Warfare games and then the Black Ops games. But that would leave out Ghosts and World at War, which World at War was my favorite. What are your initial thoughts? Thanks, Cameron from Illinois. So Mr. Cameron from Illinois. I'm going to go ahead and say real quick, though, that the World at War game, although people may not realize it or think about it, the World at War game, the campaign of it, is in the same storyline as Black Ops and Black Ops 2. If you play Black Ops 2, there is a lot of stuff that references back to World at War. You may remember Reznov from the Black Ops campaign. He was like the leader of the Russian people in World at War. He was the guy. He was the guy you were following around, right? That was him, you know? So that the entire idea of it is it would work out pretty well. I kind of like the idea of it, right? I do kind of like the idea of it, but at the same time, I don't like the idea of it, and here's why. So the reason I like the idea of it, it means that we'll get like in like one disc or in one bundle, we would get a remastered COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, and then we'd get a remastered World at War, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2 all thrown together. And that would be kind of nice. The reason I wouldn't kind of like that would be if they were to try and combine the games, it wouldn't be that, it wouldn't be the same, right? It just definitely would not be the same. Like, you'd be playing on Call of Duty 4 maps with Modern Warfare 3 guns. It would just be weird, right? You would have Modern Warfare 3 style kill streaks on COD 4 maps. You would have COD 4 guns up there in Modern Warfare 3. You would, if you look back, you'd be running around with your M16 on CeeLo, which would definitely be kind of weird. Also, if you throw in the fact that you're calling in napalm strikes and you're calling in stuff like that, or like helicopters and stuff on this World War II style map that you have all these memories, it'd be weird. I think it'd be a little bit off-putting. It still could be pretty cool, but at the same time, I think it'd be kind of off-putting. And that's why I really kind of like the idea more of just releasing each of these new remastered games as their own standalone game. And to kind of talk about that particular video a little bit more, a lot of people started saying, Nero, this release schedule thinks I made an entire chart. They're like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because by the time some of these games come out, they'll be on a new console. I'm like, yeah, so what's the point? Like, they're like, oh no, because I think everyone kind of assumed that everything on that chart was going to be from the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. They can make the Xbox 2 and the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Next or wherever in the world they're going to call it. They can make that and continue to remake those games as they go on. It doesn't matter what platform it's on. So it would still work. It would definitely be a working system. And instead of trying to sell a $60 worth of DLC every single year, they could just give us a brand new game instead. And that would be a lot better with maybe one DLC pack for the game or something like that instead. That way, then in total, they end up probably making a little bit more money. It would work out pretty freaking well overall, I honestly think. But yeah, the idea of releasing it kind of like the Master Chief Collection, they could do that. I wouldn't be against that, but at the same time, I think I would still prefer it if they release them all as individual games. I think that'd be a little bit better. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I just finished watching your I Quit Smoking video. That's about a year old. I wanted to know if have you smoked since that day. Fabian from Florida. So Fabian, that is an old video. You're creeping my videos, Fabian. I see you. I went back and looked at the release date of that video. That video was over a year and a half old. I don't know how you found it. I don't know how you're creeping through my stuff. But yes, the point of that video was I ended up quitting smoking. So what ended up happening, if you guys don't know a little bit of backstory, because some of you guys probably weren't around a year and a half ago, maybe, I don't know. Basically, I had to get a tooth pulled, right? Back when I had to get a tooth pulled, and I ended up having to be able to not smoke. If you guys didn't know, I was a smoker. I smoked at like late high school up until like my 20s and stuff, and I'm 23 now. I ended up smoking for that time, smoking cigarettes, keep in mind. And I couldn't smoke because I had a tooth pulled for fear of dry socket, where basically, I forget how dry socket even works, where basically if you have a tooth pulled, like there's blood clotting, like where the tooth used to be or something, and if you smoke, like inhaling or something like that, that can break the clot or something. And I talked to people that have had dry socket before, right? I talked to my cousin's fiance about it, and she said that she would rather give birth again than have dry socket. It's really that bad. I'm like, okay, so basically I couldn't smoke for nearly a week, or I think it was like maybe 5 days or so. I wasn't allowed to, before I could get the okay to smoke, and I wouldn't have a risk of dry socket. So I went 5 days without smoking, and I realized like after like 5 days, I'm like, I'm already 5 days into this. Let's make it 6. And then I'm like, let's make it 7. Then we'll make it 8. And until eventually it's been a year and a half, and I still haven't smoked since then. So yeah, that's how I quit smoking, which is a pretty horrible way to go about it, because quitting smoking is like one of the hardest things in the world to do, right? Just that pull that nicotine has on you. And there's so many people that want to try and quit smoking. And the only advice I can give to people that want to quit smoking is like, yeah, just go get a tooth pulled. There you go. that'll be all the motivation you need. But obviously you can't just do that, right? You can't tell somebody, yeah, just go have someone rip out one of your teeth or something like that, and then you won't. Then you'll be too scared to smoke, and then because of that you'll be able to quit. You just can't do that. So that's really tough. Quitting smoking is evil, and nicotine is evil, and just the entire idea of it. Like, I don't know how this stuff is legal anymore, man. Like, all the stories, and to you younger kids out there, all the stories that you hear people telling you, starting smoking, like, oh yeah, it'll be really fun when you first start, but then you can't stop. It's really hard to stop. No, it really, really is. Like, you get physically ill. It's not a matter of like, I don't know, like your favorite ice cream or something like that, and you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't eat it. It's really late at night. I'm about to go to bed. Oh no, I really want the ice cream though. It's not like that. You actually have a physical pain. There are physical pains that come with nicotine withdrawals. So it literally happens. Like if when I was a smoker, and I hadn't had a cigarette in like 6 hours or so, or even not even that much, man. I remember I was in high school, so like I would have a cigarette before I go to school, and then like the entire day throughout school, like once you start getting up into like the midway point in the day and stuff like that, and you still haven't smoked, you start to shake a little bit. You start to feel physically ill because of nicotine withdrawals. It's an actual physical addiction. It's not like some wimpy psychological addiction like some people have for like video games or the internet or anything like that. But no, this is a physical addiction that physically harms you if you don't consume this nicotine. So it's evil. Don't ever start smoking or using any kind of tobacco product. That's what I'm gonna say to any of you guys. Just don't do it. I did it when I was younger. I'm like, oh yeah, this will make me look cool. Oh no, it wasn't really cool. A couple years down the line, when you're sitting there coughing, you got these stains on your fingers, and it's gross. Do not start smoking. Do not start using any form of tobacco. Anybody out there, you're too cool for it. You're too cool for it. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, I recently started checking out PC gaming. I got an Alienware X51 and the best hardware Dell had for the model. I got it this Christmas. Anyway, I was wondering what games I should get that would be fun and enjoyable. I already have Civilization 5, Game Dev Tycoon, Euro Truck Simulator, Skyrim, and a few others. P.S. I think it's funny that Black Ops costs more than Call of Duty Ghosts on Steam. Jet from Tennessee, originally from the Ukraine. Wow, so you go from the Ukraine to Tennessee. That's weird. I always wondered how that ended up working, right? Like why of all places this particular town? Like I live in a very small town, and I'll see somebody with a license plate from like, I don't know, Georgia. And like, why are you here? This is a freaking, it's a piss small town in Pennsylvania, and you're from Georgia. Like why are you here of all places? Like I always wondered about that. I always thought that was kind of weird. All right, so some game suggestions is basically what you're asking for PC games. So you say you got Skyrim, and you like, your percentages are you may like Skyrim. Right now, actually, this, if you're watching this video after the fact, this probably isn't relevant. But right now, like today on New Year's Eve of 2014, I was checking the Steam sales, and Skyrim is actually $5 right now. And if you've never played Skyrim and you have a decent PC, I'm telling you, that game, good stuff. But you say you like Skyrim, you already have Skyrim. May I suggest, especially if you've already beaten Skyrim and you're kind of just playing around with it for fun, may I suggest the Elder Scrolls Online? Right now it's actually on sale for $20, I believe. Now keep in mind, the Elder Scrolls Online, it's a bit different, right? So it's basically the idea of Skyrim. It's still set in the Elder Scrolls universe, but it is an MMO game. So basically, you're in that game with millions of other players. And that's really kind of fun. I played a ton of the Elder Scrolls Online. Keep in mind, it is an MMO, so there is a monthly fee that goes along with the game, but it is a very, very fun game nonetheless. I forget the price. It's like $10 or $15 a month for the game to basically have access to the membership of the game. But keep in mind, it's an MMO, so people will get up in arms. Oh, they're going to charge money per month for a game. It's like, no, you don't understand the sheer amount of stuff to do in an MMO. It's absurd. So basically, I suggest Elder Scrolls Online to all you guys out there, but here's the thing. I didn't find the end game to be very, very good, which is basically after you get close to the max level. So I didn't find that to be very great. So beat the main story of the game, then try out a little bit of the end game for yourself. And if it's not for you, you can of course just unsubscribe from the game. But the game itself is well worth it just for the story alone and just for the experience of playing with freaking like literally millions of other players all in this giant world. It's really, really cool. So Elder Scrolls Online is a game I can suggest to you. All three of the Borderlands games are good. Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and the pre-sequel. I definitely love all those games. They're all on Steam. They're all definitely good stuff, especially in Ultra settings. Amazing. SimCity is a good game. That's not actually a Steam game. It's actually on EA's Origin, but still, SimCity is a good game. I've sunk just a stupid amount of time to that. Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army is good. I did a full Let's Play of that here on NerosCinema. The DayZ standalone is coming along pretty nicely. They updated quite a bit of stuff in it. It still is a game that could be, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It really kind of depends. Maybe watch some videos on it and get some reviews of it. The DayZ standalone itself is, in my opinion, a pretty good game. They've updated a lot of it, so that's actually pretty nice. It's actually becoming a more well-rounded out game. I think that's definitely great. Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, those are both great stuff. I don't have actually like a giant library of games on my PC because I'm one of those guys where, like, you look at some other people, this is a knock or anything, but you look at like Total Biscuit, right? And he basically reviews just tons of PC games and stuff. That's his job. He reviews, his job is to play like literally every game that ever comes out. And he seems to enjoy it. He really does. He really seems to enjoy playing all these different games. I'm not really that way. My brother's kind of that way, but I'm not. It takes me a while to get into a game, right? It takes, like, I may try out a game or something like that, but if it doesn't immediately suck me in, I just, go back to other stuff I've already enjoyed for many, many, many years. And like the Borderlands series stuff, you guys know I love SimCity, I love the Civilization series, anything really with zombies, the Sniper Elite, Nazi Zombie Army, the Daisy Standalone, Red Dead Redemption, God willing, if there's ever another one of those, Call of Duty, of course, all these games like that, the Elder Scrolls games, all the games like that. Like, it takes me a while to get into a game, but once I do get into a game, I put an unholy amount of time into that game. Like, there's some people I feel that play at like a shat ton of games, right? But they have like a very small amount of playtime in all these games, whereas me, I play like a smaller amount of games, but I have an absurd amount of playtime in each one of those games. That's really kind of how I am. But those are all games that I personally play, and I can recommend to go over those once again. It's all three of the Borderlands games: Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, the Daisy Standalone, Sniper Elite, Nazi Zombie Army, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft. Basically stuff like that. Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2, those are both great. Stuff like that, I can definitely recommend that stuff to you, sir. Next and final question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, what was your favorite game as a child? And this person did not leave his or her name. So it's really hard to pick what I believe to be my favorite game growing up, right? It's really kind of tough. I can tell you my very first game. My very first game was actually WWF Royal Rumble on the Sega Genesis. So I went over to my cousin's house one day, which is interesting. The same cousin that got me into Call of Duty initially, he's also the guy that really kind of got me into console gaming. I went over to his house one day, and he has Sega Genesis, and he was playing WWF Royal Rumble. And I was like, what? This is so cool, because we liked wrestling, right? Wrestling was a big thing. We used to watch the WWF, and back then, before it disbanded, but we used to watch the WCW a bunch as well, and we would watch these things. It was so cool, and like the idea of being able to play with these wrestlers in a video game, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so we ended up playing that quite a bit, and then just that night, and like, I want a Sega Genesis, I want a Sega Genesis. So what I started doing was I would save my allowance, which was $5 a week, and I'd save my allowance to try and buy this Sega Genesis as well as this wrestling game. And once I got to about the halfway point, my parents decided to meet me halfway. It was always kind of cool because they didn't they always made so I tried to work for things I wanted, but at the same time they would usually like meet me halfway once I was actually able to save the money to the halfway point. I always thought that was kind of neat. I think they did the same thing for my PlayStation 1. So at the same time, it taught you a little bit of responsibility, but at the same time, they also just kind of gave you something as well. So that was kind of cool. They ended up doing that. So I remember we just went out one day, and I didn't expect it to happen. But they said, do you want to get your Sega Genesis today? And I was like, yeah, Sega Genesis. And we went there, and we got it, and we ended up getting 3 games with it. One of them was the WWF Royal Rumble game. The other one was Sonic and Knuckles. And the other one was like a George Foreman's boxing, which I didn't even play a whole lot. But still, I got the wrestling game, and I got that Sonic game, and it was fun. Played it a ton. Now, for other games I ended up playing throughout my childhood. Now, keep in mind, I went from the Sega Genesis to the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2. And I had, of course, like a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance throughout that time span. So, of course, I was playing all the Pokemon games, like Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, my favorite. I'm one of those guys. I'm a Gen 1er. I'll say Gen 1 was awesome. I like Generation 1 games the best. They were just amazing. Even with their infinite amount of problems, they were definitely always pretty great. The PlayStation 1, I remember playing a lot of, like, actually, I can't remember which games were PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. They're both kind of blurring together in my mind. But some games I liked playing growing up was, I was really into Nickelodeon growing up, as most 90s kids were. So Nicktoons Racing was freaking great. Nicktoons Racing was basically the idea of Mario Kart, but with Nickelodeon characters, like the people from the Rugrats, and I think SpongeBob was in there, yeah. And yeah, I remember, because the Mystery Rider was Plankton. I remember that. And like the Angry Beavers and all those people, like Cat Dog, all the crazy Nickelodeon shows from the 90s, they were all in this game, in a Mario Kart style game, so that was awesome. South Park Rally, it was basically the same idea once again, but with South Park characters, and back then you're like, oh, they swore, that was so funny, that idea. So South Park Rally was cool. I remember playing a lot of the Medal of Honor games on the PlayStation 2, and those were definitely a whole lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed playing on those. Cool Borders, who remembers Cool Borders? The snowboarding game, that was awesome, like the Simpsons Road Rage and the Simpsons Hit and Run. I basically played like branded games in a way, so I didn't play games just for the sake of, oh, the gameplay mechanics, that game looked very cool. I basically picked games based upon were they a war game, because I thought that was cool, so Medal of Honor was cool, but other than that, it had to be something that like I like to watch on TV and stuff, and I'm like, wait, there's a video game for that? Then I would play it. So like my first game, of course, WWF Royal Rumble, it's because I used to watch wrestling back in the day. South Park Rally, because I watched South Park. Nicktoons Racing, because I watched Nickelodeon all the time growing up. Sonic and Knuckles, that was actually just a game just because Sonic the Hedgehog was sounded cool. Like the Simpsons Road Rage, which was basically like a Taxi Driver ripoff, where you basically basically just drove around as different Simpsons characters, and you'd pick up people, and you had to get them to a certain destination before the clock ran out to get your points or whatever. And I thought it was cool because you got to drive around Springfield and stuff. Then, of course, they came out with The Simpsons Hit and Run, which was also freaking great because that game was basically just Grand Theft Auto, but within the entire Simpsons universe, which I thought was awesome. So I played basically that kind of stuff, where I would play a lot of branded games growing up, just based upon different TV shows and stuff that I was really into at the time. Simpsons Hit and Run was really great, man. We actually still have my PlayStation 2, and I wanted to, like, I could play it, like I could plug it in and play it, and I think that'd be cool. I'd want to do like a let's play of the game, right? That would definitely be awesome. But to do that, there's a couple things holding me back. So first and foremost, I would need to, one, buy an old TV that actually can use the cables for the PlayStation 2. So that might be an issue. Two, would have to actually buy a brand new capture card that would actually be able to record with these cables. And three, I'm pretty sure the aspect ratio would be 4:3 rather than 16:9. So that wouldn't be very cool. I tried to get the Simpsons Hit and Run running on an emulator. I think I tried out, what is it called? Dolphin, maybe? I tried one of these emulators for like a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation 2 or anything like that. I tried this thing, and I got it to run pretty well, right? I got it to run pretty well. We're getting nice frames. Everything is smooth, and the recordings looked good. I was like, oh, man, I haven't played this game in ages. I'm just sitting there walking around like the initial starting area. I'm like, oh, man, are we about to do a Let's Play The Simpsons Hit and Run? This is going to be great. And then, for whatever reason, whenever I got into a vehicle, the frame rate just tanks. I don't know if there's something wrong with the ROM or what, but everything's fine all the time. But at the moment you get into a vehicle in that game, I seriously dropped to like 2 frames per second. And it's like, oh no. And I couldn't find a fix on it, and I just gave up on it. I was like, oh, that would have been the coolest game. I want to do a Let's Play of that on my Let's Play channel. That'd be so fun. Maybe one day I'll get that going. Maybe one day I'll be able to find a fix for that or something like that, and we'll actually be able to get the Simpsons Hit and Run Let's Play up, because that would be just amazing. Because I played the game so much growing up that I'm sure, well, I can't like recite anything that happened in that game for you here. I'm sure if I would actually start playing again, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is the part where the thing happens. I'm sure that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, those are some of the games I ended up playing growing up. That is some of the stuff. And that concludes, ladies and gentlemen, this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed going up here on New Year's Eve. Now, I want to say for all you guys out there, especially those of you guys that made it this far into the video, do not drink and drive. I know it sounds awful, but don't do it. If I can save any lives today, do that. If you are drinking tonight, if you plan on doing anything like that, do not get behind the wheel of a vehicle. Do not do that. Get a ride from somebody else who has not been drinking, or just stay wherever you're drinking or drink at home. Do anything like that. If you are going to be doing drinking tonight, do it safely, because there's a lot of people that die on New Year's Eve, and I definitely don't want that to happen to any of you guys. So don't do that. Do not do that. Do not drink and drive. That would just be a terrible. I actually lost an uncle to drinking and driving. Did you guys know that? Awful thing. Horrible tragedy. So do not do that. Do not drink and drive. If you want to drink, that's fine. Personally, I don't like drinking very much, but if you guys do, that's fine. Just do it safely, do it responsibly, and have yourselves a very safe and happy New Year, because it's New Year, and I don't know, man. I want to do some stuff for New Year's, man. I want to continue what I'm doing here on my channel. I definitely want to continue doing that. I feel as though NerosCinema has gotten to a really cool place. I get to make videos. I'm really enjoying the stuff I'm making, but my Let's Play channel, I feel as though I'm neglecting it a little bit. I think I'm going to try and revamp that thing here with the coming New Year, and hopefully that'll end up turning out pretty well. So that's youtube.com/NerosLet'sPlays. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out, there's a link always down in the video description. You want to check it out. Various playthroughs, different Pokemon games, and Borderlands games, and we even got stuff like Far Cry 3 on there, and just a bunch of random stuff. We got Red Dead Redemption Zombies. Oh, I forgot Red Dead Redemption has zombies. I want to go play that now. But still, you go and check that out. You guys go ahead and do that. I want to do stuff, make some New Year's resolutions, make some positive ones, and try to actually fulfill on them, because everyone always kind of makes some New Year's resolutions, and they kind of forget about the weekend. So think long and hard as to what you guys would like to change about yourselves for the better for the coming New Year, then try and act upon it once the New Year starts. So that's the whole point of the New Year, is to try and do that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a happy New Year.